Hey guys, what's up? I'm back and I have a story that I'm super excited to tell today. First and foremost, if you have not seen my channel before, hi, my name is Danielle, and if you can't tell by the title of the channel, 100 Ghost Stories, this is a channel where I like to talk about the paranormal. I like to talk about anything spooky, anything vaguely within that realm. Later on when I get into the story, you'll see a number that's higher than 1, and that is because I am keeping a rolling total of every ghost story I tell on this channel. So in some of my videos, I get very, very loose as to what I qualify as a ghost story, but this one's going to be a very traditional story time, and it's going to be, I would say, the scariest story I've told on this channel so far, so I'm very excited to tell it. So if you've seen some of my previous videos, you might already know that I lived in a very haunted house when I was a teenager. I'll go ahead and link those down below. The first one was where I talked about how I used the Ouija board all the time at this house, and I talked about some of my Ouija board experiences that were very scary. The other one was a story time where I talked about how my dad was punched in the face by what I think was a ghost. As crazy as that sounds, you'll have to watch the video. It's a very crazy story. But this was a very, very haunted house. And to just give you some context, if you don't know already, this house was kind of in the middle of nowhere. It was a new subdivision being built, and we were the first people to move into the subdivision, and we had the first finished house in the subdivision. So we were actually the first family to live in this home, which is very weird for a haunted house. There's woods in the backyard. There was a lake in the backyard as well. And, in some of my previous videos, I do talk about how I think this house was haunted because I used the Ouija board. But I've been talking about this more and more, and I'm remembering more and more the more I talk about it. And what I realized is, or what I forgot, and I remembered again, is that a lot of my neighbors had paranormal experiences too in this area. So I do think there was something up with the land. I don't think it was just me using the Ouija board. That definitely probably stirred a lot up. But I think there's something up with the land. Like I said, I didn't really have neighbors, but later on we had somebody that moved next door after we lived there for like 2 years, and then I had another friend who lived, he moved in a couple years after we moved in, and he lived around the block, but the back of his house faced the same woods and lake. So I think there's something up with the woods and or the lake. I don't know what, but I'll just give you a little overview of their paranormal experiences, or at least what I heard. So the first one, it's not that crazy of a story, but it's definitely strange. The woman next door told my mom that she was having some trouble with her teenage son, and she ended up sending him away to some sort of reform school. I'm not sure exactly where it was, but before she sent him away, apparently it would drive her crazy that her son would always shut his blinds, and she wanted to let the sun into the house, and she would always open up the blinds, and it just drove her crazy that he kept shutting the blinds. And apparently he would say it wasn't him shutting the blinds, and it was just a constant argument they had on top of a bunch of other family problems. And apparently after the son went away to his reform school, this woman continually had her blinds shut by seemingly no one. I don't think she thought her husband was shutting the blinds and lying about it. But yeah, it's not a big thing. But apparently after her son left, who she thought was always closing the blinds when she was always opening them up, apparently after he left, they would always close pretty frequently. So that freaked her out, and that definitely seems quite suspicious. And my friend who lived around the block, who moved in a couple years after us, he said that one night when his dad was sleeping, he woke up and he saw an apparition of a man going through, I don't know, just whatever they had on the dresser in their bedroom. And he was scared stiff looking at this man. And this is so scary. I actually have chills thinking about it, but apparently the man saw him looking at him, turned to him and said boo, and then evaporated. So that would be definitely horrifying. And I saw apparitions of my own in this house. And that's the main point of the story. That's the main story I'm going to tell today. So, like I said, I had a ton of paranormal experiences here. I'd hear my name whispered. I'd hear my name yelled. We'd hear people like running around in the hallways all the time. There's a bunch of little things that don't warrant, a story time. But this house is definitely very scary, and I have a few more stories beyond this one to tell. I should just get into it. Anyways, I'll just get into it. But I want to talk about the 2 times I saw apparitions at this home. So the first time, like I said in some of my previous videos, I would wake up at 3 a.m. every morning, which I didn't know was a significant time for paranormal activity until I saw The Exorcism of Emily Rose, which definitely scared the crap out of me. If you haven't seen Exorcism of Emily Rose, it's, long story short, it's a case about demonic possession. It's based off of a true story, and everyone in the movie wakes up at 3 a.m. because apparently that's a time when spirits are most active. But before that even, I was waking up at 3 a.m. every single morning with like the strong feeling something was watching me. A couple times I woke up because I heard my name screamed. Just whatever. I woke up at 3 a.m. every morning. So like every night, morning, whatever, I woke up at 3 a.m. and I was very thirsty, and I was always very scared at night, but I was thirsty enough that I got up enough courage to leave my room and go downstairs to get some water. When I stepped outside my room, I saw a woman on my stairs, and what was weird about this woman and what made me think maybe it was coming from my own mind, maybe I was a little crazy, is she looked exactly like this picture of my grandma that we had on the wall. My mom put a bunch of old pictures of like past family members, like dating back hundreds of years, all over our wall, which looked a little eerie, but I always thought it was really cool. I'm always really interested in history. It was creepy, but I liked that we have these pictures on the wall, and I really like this picture of my grandma. Because it was a really nice picture of her. I was about 13 at the time, and she was 16 in the picture. I just thought it was cool to be able to see a picture of my grandma not too far from my age. And I never talked about how I liked this picture, but I would stop and look at it and admire it every so often because I did really like it, and it was like right outside my bedroom. But the apparition I saw on my stairs when I stepped outside my room looked exactly like this picture of my grandma. And I really couldn't believe my eyes when I saw it. I was scared stiff, and I didn't know what to do. And I was just staring at her. And I was trying to think, am I crazy? Am I imagining this? What's going on? I don't know. It's just my brain couldn't compute what I was saying. It didn't make any sense. So I was just staring at her, and I was scared stiff, and I couldn't move. And she was looking at pictures of my family that were on the stairs. And she was just staring at them very calmly, and then she slowly turned and looked up at me, and we locked eyes, and she had no expression whatsoever. And yeah, I was just scared stiff. I couldn't move. It felt like forever, but it was probably just several seconds that we made eye contact. And then I got brave enough to run back in my room. I don't know. Yeah, my brain just couldn't figure out what I was seeing. It was just too bizarre. It was too weird. And I ran back to my room and hid under the covers. I don't know, maybe eventually I fell asleep, but that scared the crap out of me. That really, really scared me. I mean, honestly, that might be the most scared I've ever been, just because it was just so bizarre and it was so clear. It wasn't like I saw a reflection or I saw something in the corner of my eye. I was probably looking at this apparition of a woman for minutes straight. And at first I was convinced that I was insane, because it doesn't make sense why I would see an apparition that looked like this picture of my grandma I liked. I figured there's something wrong with me. There's something happening in my brain that's making me see these things. So I didn't tell anyone about it for a long time because I just thought it was coming for me. I thought I was crazy. And then this made me feel even more crazy. Just to add on to this story, the second time I saw an apparition in this home, I was in a bathroom that's at the bottom of the stairs. So I saw an apparition, what looked like this picture of my grandma, on this certain step. And the bathroom I was in, like, you could see that step from the mirror. And while I was in the bathroom, you know, the door was open. I was just like messing with my hair or like doing my makeup in this downstairs bathroom for some reason. And I was like messing with my hair, doing whatever. And I saw my younger sister. And she was like crouched down with like her knees up. And she like was holding the bars of the stairs. And it was on the same step where I saw this other apparition. And she was just kind of like holding onto the bars, sticking her head through and looking at me. And she wasn't like a little baby. She was, if I was 13, that means she was 9, but she was like a very mature kid. She wasn't like a weirdo. She didn't do like weird stuff. She, you know, we could talk to each other on a similar level. You know, she didn't do weird stuff like that. But she's just staring at me, messing with my hair, holding onto the bars, pushing her head through. And she had like a very straight face. And I was doing my hair and I could see her in the mirror and we were making eye contact through the mirror. And I was like, hey, Hannah, what's up? How's it going? Because she's just staring at me. Like, I thought it was a little weird, but I was like, what's going on? Do you want to chat with me, or are you just watching me do my hair? And she didn't say a word. She just kept holding onto the bars, like pushing her head through, watching me really intently. And again, we were making eye contact through the mirror, and that's how I could see her. And I was like, Hannah, what's going on? Can you hear me? And she just didn't say anything. She just kept staring at me. And I started to get irritated. Like, what's your problem? Why are you just staring at me? Like, what's going on? Why aren't you answering me? And I was like, Hannah. And she didn't say anything. And then I turned around to like confront her and be like, what's up? What's wrong? What's the problem? Why are you just being silent and weird and staring at me like this? And then I turned around. Nobody was there. She was probably watching me for like a good 3 minutes. I saw her watching me and I was just like, oh, maybe she just likes to watch me do my hair. And then eventually I'm like, what are you doing? Hey, what's going on? And then when she didn't answer me, it was just so weird to me. So I was horrified when I turned around and saw she wasn't there. And I thought I was even crazier, just imagining my sister watching me through the bars. Just the fact that these were things like, the apparitions looked like a picture I like, and then the other one looked like my little sister. It just made me think I was insane, that I was seeing these things that were impossible. Well, I was seeing these things, and the first one was impossible. There's no way I'm seeing like a black and white 3D version of my teenage grandma, and then seeing my little sister when she's not there. I don't know, I flat out thought I was insane. Later on, I'll tell some more stories where I felt validated because I started hearing other people were having paranormal experiences here, and I experienced some with other people at the same time. So I realized that it wasn't just me, I wasn't just crazy, and I got a little more comfortable and eventually started telling people about these things. But that was definitely terrifying. Later, after telling people about these experiences and looking into it and learning a little more, I did learn that like evil spirits or demons will sometimes project themselves in an image that will make you comfortable to try to like earn your trust. I definitely was terrified both times I saw them. Even when I saw my little sister in the mirror, it was like super eerie. I started to get mad when I turned around. She wasn't answering me because I was scared. But yeah, I did hear that evil entities will sometimes project themselves in an image that they think will make you comfortable. And honestly, a picture of my grandma that I always stopped and looked at, and the image of my little sister are two images maybe, I don't know, some sort of being might think that I liked or would be comfortable with. I don't know. I don't really have much more to elaborate on here. I definitely thought it was weird. It was really uncomfortable. It was very scary. I do plan to tell more stories about this house, and I think I'm going to be able to get my older sister to go on this channel and tell some of her own experience with this house that I'm really excited about. But yeah, I know that was short. There's not really like an ending. That I don't really have a way to tie this up, but yeah, that's really it. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope this was okay. If you made it to the end of the video, thank you so much. I'm very flattered. And I hope you have a great day, a great night, a great evening, and I hope to see you again. If you didn't hate this, subscribe. That'd be really great. I only have a handful of subscribers, so you're extra special if you do subscribe, because I only have a few of them. And, like the video if you want. Yeah, anyways, that's all. Thanks again, and have a great day. Bye.